Welcome, everybody, to Divining Your Destiny. Develop the confidence and courage to find and follow your life's true calling. And I am here with Michael Bernard Beckwith, Neale Donald Walsch. Hey, am I a lucky guy or what? Really been looking forward to doing this program with you. Thank you guys for being here. It's my joy. It's my honor.
Yeah, it's lovely to be here with you. Thanks for the invitation.
Boy, and we have such an amazing and important program ahead. And we got so much ground to cover. I'm going to jump right in here. Michael, I'm going to direct the first question to you. Can you start by talking a little about the nature of the human soul?
Absolutely. Obviously, when we talk about the nature of the soul, we could talk volumes. But for the sake of us, we want to know that we are a living soul. And the soul is multidimensional and spans all time and space. So it's not relegated to the body. And even though as a spiritual being having a human incarnation, through looking at our life through our sensorium, we may think we're only our body or the byproduct of our experiences. But the soul is eternal. And the soul carries every memory, every lesson. It also carries infinite potential to be released throughout incarnation after incarnation. So that when we think about the human soul, it's precious and unique. Each of us are individualized expression of a presence, and we are a spirit, and we are a living soul. It's way more than we could cover in a small period of time, but that's my opening transmission about it.
That sets the table. Thank you, Michael. So Neale, can you share a little about the soul's inner guidance system?
Well, it's interesting the way you phrased the question. In my experience, the soul doesn't have an inner guidance system. The soul is an inner guidance system. So when you ask me that question, I find myself wanting to say, the soul is exactly that. It is inner guidance, and it is an energetic signature that we are impacted by, and our opportunity is simply to listen. The real challenge is listening to the soul for me. And then the second level of my challenge is to believe it, because often it's too good to be true, honestly. And then the third level of my personal challenge is after I listen and after I believe it, to actually act on it. Because I might believe it, but I don't necessarily act on it at all, or as soon as I could or should. So those are my three levels of interaction with my soul. But I've learned through the years to listen as astutely and as often as I can, to believe everything that my soul sends me. But there's a process of discrimination. I have to discriminate. I have to know the difference between my soul's messages and the messages that are coming to me from other sources, including my mind, and then to act on it as quickly as possible. One final note I would say is, what's helped me in my process is to divorce myself from any need for a particular result or outcome. So when I don't have a huge investment in things turning out a certain way, then I'm open and free to go with, as the kids say today, to go with the flow.
Neale, can we improve our lives by going with the flow?
I'm tempted to say yes, but for me, the whole idea of improving our lives suggests that they're not okay exactly the way they are. And I come from a different place. So I come from a place that tells me that the way things are right here, right now is perfect. And therefore the idea of somehow improving on perfection is difficult for my mind, my poor left brain to kind of grasp. But I would say this, and I guess maybe I'm just arguing with semantics, but so I don't know if we can improve our lives, but can we enjoy our lives more? Can we find a greater sense of ourself, a greater sense of the expression, a greater experience of joy? Yeah, I think we can do that. But I'm not sure that that's necessarily an improvement of our lives, but merely a greater appreciation of exactly what's going on right now.
Yeah, beautiful. So Michael, Did you want to say something?
Well, I like what he's saying because when we look at improvement, when we look back over our life and we say that our life is improved, it really means that we've eliminated some filter. We've eliminated some thought, some perception that was preventing us from seeing who we are. So that all spiritual growth and unfoldment is not about gaining anything. It's about eliminating something, a lie, an opinion, a superstitious thought, a belief that's preventing us from seeing, as he's saying, the sense of perfection is right here, right now. So he's really bringing it home.
Yeah, beautiful. Wow. Michael, can you talk about what happens before an individual soul chooses to incarnate here on earth?
I can speculate on that. I mean, I've had my own foray into light and my own experience into beyond this particular dimension. I would remind us all that we are eternal beings, that our life did not begin with this birth through via our parents, that we had a life, a continuity of a life, and that every lifetime is actually a chapter in the one life. So before we got here, I always say that we had what is called the PreIncarnation Choice. We chose to be here. This is not accidental. We didn't get pushed into an incarnation. We chose to be here. We chose the conditions, the circumstances, or I'll put it like this, we knew the conditions, the circumstances, the parents. We already knew that. And so we also knew perhaps the lessons and the blessings we were to learn and to share. We knew that we would go through certain things in order to activate potential. And so if people want to come out of being a victim, they want to let go of the thinking of, sometimes a kid may say to their parents, "Why did you bring me here? I didn't choose to be here." Well, that's not true. We did choose to be here. And once we embrace that, then we alleviate the victim consciousness perception. We begin to take responsibility for our life. And then we can make higher choices, which leads to the development of character, which leads to what you're calling, divining our destiny, because destiny is determined by character.
And Neale, related to this, in Conversations with God, says we get to choose our paint and our brushes, the people we interact with in our story. And you've shared, yes, but at any moment, we can change that story within our life. There's incredible wisdom in that.
Well, I think that where I come from in my understanding of what I've received, if I could use that word in my conversations with God, is that predestination and free will are incompatible. So I'm not really one who endorses or embraces the idea that we've made all the choices ahead of time. Who we're going to meet, who we're going to marry, where we're going to live, what we're going to do for a living, all those things that somehow suggest to me some level of predestination. I think that we do come here with an agenda, what I call the agenda of the soul. I think the soul comes here to work on particular aspects of its evolutionary process: compassion, patience, understanding. Just to give you an example, I'm pretty clear, for instance, that I came here to work on patience. There's no doubt about it in my life. And my life has been a test of my patience because so many incidents have tested my patience. And I'm pretty clear after the 114th incident that, I see, I came here to work on patience, and I came here to work on understanding. And I came here, there are certain other aspects of life that I came here to work on. But that's not the same as predestination. It's like an orchestra deciding to play Mozart, but not being told what instrument should be used at what bar and what graph and what place in the sheet music itself. With God as the conductor, and he says, pick up any instrument you would like and interpret the music even in any way that you wish. So I have found myself taking a look at life in that way, and allowing myself then to step into each moment as a moment not of discovery, but a moment of creation.
Beautiful.